Tracking through theory. 6. The rhythmic notations. In the previous videos, we learned about pitches and how to read and notate them on different staffs. In this video, we will learn about rhythm, which basically refers to the duration of pitch and silence, or in other words, notes and rests. We will go through rhythmic notations used for the simple time signatures. In this video, I will talk about common notes and rests that show us the rhythm in music, when to play and when not to play. The notes tell us how long we should play, and the rests tell us how long we should stay silent. From the top, we see a semibreve. A semibreve or whole note has a value of 4 beats. A minim or half note has a value of 2 beats. A crochet or quarter note has a value of 1 beat. A quaver or eighth note has a value of half a beat. A semiquaver or 16th note has a value of a quarter of a beat. Okay, you may ask, what is a beat? Well, let's play some music to discover what beat means. Listen to some of your favorite music. As you listen, do you notice your foot tapping along, or your body moving, or your head bobbing, or your hand conducting to the music? That's the beat. The beat is the music's primary pulse. It's like a heart beating steadily, giving the pulse of life to the music. As you listen to your music, you should also hear a secondary pulse as well, most likely beating twice as fast. That is the subdivision or beat division. Simply put, that's how time is organized in the music we hear. Okay, let's play and listen to as many songs or music as you like. Listen for a recurring pattern. Can you differentiate how the beats are divided and how the beats are grouped together? Let me show you what I mean. Listen to this. Do you recognize this song? It's Amazing Grace. I had to choose one of my arrangements that does not have a copyright claim. Can you hear that the beats are grouped together in fours? Can you feel groupings of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4? Do you hear the drums and the piano emphasizing on the subdivisions or beat divisions, beating twice as fast? What you hear in music can be represented by these notes. These notes and rests represent time. Let me start with the whole note or semibreve. So far in all the videos that I have done, from number 1 to number 5, I've used the whole note or the semibreve a lot. The whole note or semibreve looks like a small oval-shaped egg. This oval-shaped part of the note is also called a note head. As I have said, this whole note or semibreve has a value of 4 beats. You see this little rectangle stuck to the top of the second line? This is a whole note rest or semibreve rest. When you see the little rectangle hanging from the second line, counting from the top, you stay silent for 4 beats. Next, let me introduce to you the minims or half notes. The minim or half note has an oval-shaped note head like the semibreve or whole note, but in addition to the note head, it has a line called stem coming out from its note head. I have mentioned in the previous video, Tracking Through Theory number 5, that it is important to have the stem on the correct side of the note head. It really depends on where the note is on the staff. Basically, when a note stem points downwards, the stem comes out from the left side of the note head. And when a note stem points upwards, it comes out from the right side of the note head. The minim has 2 beats, half the value of the semibreve, and that is why it is also called the half note. The minims or half notes rest looks very similar to the semibreves or whole notes rest. It is a little rectangle sitting on the middle line of the staff. The way I remember the half note rest is that it is sitting on the second space counting from the top on the middle line, halfway of the staff. When we see this rest, we do not sing or play our instrument, and we stay silent for 2 beats. Next, these are quarter notes or crotchets. A crochet or quarter note looks like a minim or half note, but it has a black note head. A crochet or quarter note has a value of 1 beat. That means 4 crochets or quarter notes make 1 semibreve or whole note, and 2 crochets or quarter notes make 1 minim or 1 half note. So a crochet or quarter note rest has a value of 1 beat. This rest is a little more complicated to draw. It sort of looks like a zigzag line. To me, it looks like a little bird with the top wing slightly longer than the bottom wing. After the crochets or quarter notes, we have the quavers or eighth notes. This is how one quaver or eighth note looks like. It looks like a crochet, but it has a tail coming out of the side of the stem. This has been referred to as a flag or hook. Please note that this tail always comes out on the right side of the stem. Now, we can beam 2 quavers together to show that 2 quavers represent 1 beat. You can see that 2 quavers or 8 notes make 1 crochet or 1 beat. 4 of them make 1 minim or half note, and 8 of these quavers or 8 notes make 1 semibreve or whole note. Here is the quaver or 8 note rest. It looks like the number 7 wearing a cap, sitting on the 4th line. Similarly, the quaver rest has the value of half a beat. After the quaver, we have the semiquaver or the 16th note. This is how one semiquaver or 16th note looks like. It looks like a quaver, but it has 2 flags coming out of the side of the stem. Like the quavers, we can beam semiquavers together as well. We need to use 2 beams instead of 1 because a semiquaver has 2 flags. From this chart, we can see a semiquaver or 16th note is worth 1/4 of a beat. 2 semiquavers make 1 quaver, and 4 semiquavers make 1 crochet. In other words, 2 16th notes make 1 8th note, and 4 16th notes make 1 quarter note. Here's how a semiquaver rest or 16th note rest looks like. It looks like a quaver rest, but it has 2 caps, and it sits on the bottom line of the staff. It has the value of 1/4 of a beat, the same as the semiquaver. We may come across other notes and their rests used in music notation. Here are a few examples. Here we see the dotted minim, or dotted half note, which has the value of 3 beats. The dot beside the note is worth half of its value. This means a dotted minim is equivalent to a minim plus a crochet. In other words, a dotted half note equals to a half note plus a quarter note. Here's the dotted minim or dotted half note rest. This is a dotted crochet or a dotted quarter note. The dotted crochet or dotted quarter note has a value of 1.5 beats. The dot beside the note is worth half of its value. Here's how the dotted crochet rest or dotted quarter note rest looks like. Now this is a dotted quaver or a dotted eighth note. The dotted quaver or dotted eighth note is worth 3/4 of a beat. This means a dotted quaver is equivalent to a quaver plus a semiquaver. In other words, a dotted eighth note equals to an eighth note plus a 16th note. Here's how the dotted quaver or dotted eighth note rest looks like. This is a not so common note called the breve or double whole note. It has a value of 8 beats, twice as long as a semibreve. You may also come across these rare ones, the demi-semiquaver or the 32nd note, or the hemi-demi-semiquaver or the 64th note. Let's draw. Draw the rest. For each rhythmic value of the note, Write the note value name and notate the corresponding rest below. The first one is done for you. Draw the notes. For each rhythmic value of the rest, write the rest value name and notate the corresponding note below. The first one is done for you. That's it. That's all I have for this video, the rhythmic notations.